We want to find the power series representations for the given function 2 divided by 4 plus x. So first, based on the previous videos, we know that 1 over 1 plus x function can be represented as the power series negative 1 to the k multiplied by x to the k for the x values between negative 1 and 1. So notice that you can write the desired function as 2 divided by 4 times 1 plus 1/4 x, right? You're factoring out the 4. And notice that 2 divided by 4 can be expressed as 1/2 multiplying 1 over 1 plus 1/4 x, right? So now, as you can see, the inner function here is very close to the one that we know the power series representation for, right? So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to replace the x with the 1/4 x, right? So we're going to have 1 over 1 plus 1/4 x is equal to power series representation negative 1 to the k. So x is going to be replaced with 1/4 x now, right? So 1/4 x will be set to the kth power 4, and now notice that this will also change. This x will be replaced with 1/4 x, right? Because uh, based on the previous videos, you realize that this is a geometric series conversion in which the radius is going to be negative x. I'm sorry, not the radius, the ratio. The ratio is going to be negative x, right? So whenever you change that ratio, you will have to change the interval, the x variable somehow, right? In this case, you're changing the x, you're replacing it 1/4 x, right? So 1/4 x is less than 1. Or simply multiplying three sides of the inequality by 4, you're going to get negative 4 is less than x is less than 4. So as you can see, the interval is definitely changed. It's become bigger. And so the radius has become bigger as well, the radius. But we're not done yet, right? Because there's 1/2 multiplying. So if we get a 1/2 multiplying this 1 over 1 plus 1/4 x, we get the original function, 2 divided by 4 plus x, of course. And now all it does is just multiplies the half to the series, right? So it's going to get 1/2 times negative 1 to the k times 1/4x to the kth power, true for negative 4 is less than x is less than 4. So now, as you can see, this is too complicated. We need to simplify this. We need to simplify. So let's see what we can do. I see that there's a 1/2 and there's a 1/4 in there, right? So 1/4 can be expressed as squared, right? So let's see. So 1/4 can be expressed as squared. So we can do 1/2 times 1/2 squared, and notice that this 1/4 is set to the k power, so we must set it to the k power, that 1/4, right? And then multiplying by negative 1 to the k, multiplying by x to the k, right? And again, this simplifies even more because we know 1/2 squared set to the k power is going to be 1/2 to the 2k. And then there's this 1/2 that's set to the first power, so we will have 1/2 set to the power of 2k, right? This guy, 2k plus 1, right? This 1/2 to the first power. And then negative 1 to the k xk, right? So negative 1 to the k multiplied by xk. And I don't want to combine the negative 1 with the x, even though they're both raised to the kth power, because simply we want to make it look like the original, except now the difference is we're going to have 1/2 set to the 2k plus 1 power. But everything else is the same, right? So we'll have negative 4 is less than x is less than 4, right? So the interval of convergence is going to be open from negative 4 to 4, right? So between the x values of negative 4 and 4, the power series representation here converges, represents exactly the function 2 divided by 4 plus x. If you graph it, you will see it's going to be the same exact curve between the x values of negative 4 and 4. Now, the radius of conversion is going to be half the distance between the endpoints, right? So it's going to be 4 plus 4 divided by 2, right? Because the distance from -4 to 0 is 4. From 0 to 4 is 4 as well. So 8 divided by 2, which is equal to 4, right? So the radius of convergence is 4. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.